Hello my crafty people, and welcome back to my channel Witchinary. If you have yet to subscribe to it, please do so because we're getting the ball rolling. Today I wanted to share with you the creations that I made using the My Monthly Hero Art Kit, Beautifully Basic, as well as this beautiful Kelly Purkley stamp set called Kelly's New York. I've had this Kelly's New York stamp set in my stash for a while, and I've yet to know what I wanted to do with it until I saw it next to this release. And then I got an idea. I want to make postcards using these two stamp sets because postcards are charming, and I can't remember the last time that I saw one at a shop that I wanted to send to my friends to let them know that I'm still in New York City, still doing New York things. So I wanted to make some that were more modern and minimal and just more pleasing to the youthful crowd of today. I took the liberty of pre-cutting my card bases to 5 by 4 inches, so they'll be smaller than the standard A2 size card. I also pulled out my Mini Misty because we're going to be doing a lot of in-place stamping. It just seemed like a no-brainer. I wanted my black to be very, very saturated, so that's the route I had to go through. I'm also pulling out the Hello There greeting from the stamp set, as well as the greetings from New York City. I want to be a part of it, that Brooklyn Bridge from the Kelly's New York stamp set. After I got my orientation the way that I wanted to, I'm just going to close that door to stick all that to the panel on the other side, and I'm going to get started on some inking. For ink, I'm going to use the Distress inks from Tim Holtz in Black Soot. This was kind of an experiment for me. Normally, I ink everything up with intense black ink because it's alcohol, marker, and water resistant. But this was an experiment. I wanted to see if I can get that saturated black color with Tim Holtz's ink, and I was pleasantly surprised. I apparently can. So I might actually do that from now on if I know that I'm not going to be doing any watercoloring with my card. To finish off this card and to bring it together and give it some color, I'm going to take that heart from the set and I'm going to ink that up with some Hollyhock ink from Simon Says Stamp. Don't get me wrong, I really like that black and white minimal youthful editorial sort of feel that this card had. However, I'm not a monster. I needed to give it some color. So I did that. For my second card, I wanted to make a landscape card with the exact same sentiment. I will be using the same sentiment for all three of my cards. And I wanted to add that arrow again. There's just something about that arrow that kind of makes me feel like the cards are from Brooklyn and they have like this new age hipster vibe. So I had to add it to each one of my cards. Again, I'm going to ink this up with some Distress ink and we're going to make it work. The only thing that I did differently for this was that I swapped out the Brooklyn Bridge for Lady Liberty because she is iconic, and what is a postcard from New York City without Lady Liberty, you know? For my third card, I'm again going to use the same sentiment. The only differences here is that I'm going to take that beautiful little, like, I guess it's like a sunburst design from the Hero Art Kit. This particular stamp actually made me feel like it came out of Good Morning America, which is basically iconic New York. And I'm also going to take the little pretzel and the taxi cab from the Kelly Purkley set, and I'm going to add it alongside the coffee mug from the Hero Art release set. I think these kind of look like emojis or like little apps on a phone, so I thought they went very, very well with this youthful Brooklynite feel of these postcards. I think it's still very much aesthetically pleasing and on brand. And I was very, very pleased with this. Once I got my orientation where I wanted it and I finagled with these sentiments a bit, I closed my cap and I added that little arrow again. Guys, this arrow gave me the hardest time. I don't know if it gave anyone else a hard time. Maybe I just have stubby fingers. Maybe I overused it. I don't know. But it gave me a run for my money. So here I am adjusting it again on my panel. And it is what it is, but man was I upset. I'm going to ink up those little emojis with Hero Art's Intense Black ink because I want to do some Zig color reel brush coloring with my markers, and those are water based, so I didn't want my ink to run. Again, I'm going to pull out that Hollyhock ink and I'm going to give Lady Liberty a little heart because she loves you. Duh, I'm joking. So here I am pulling out my Zig Color Clean Color Reel brush pens, if I could actually say that. Try to say that 3 times fast, I dare you. And I'm gonna pull out the colors beige and yellow to paint my little taxi cab and my pretzel. For Lady Liberty, I pulled out my Tombow Grayscale Dual Brush Markers, and this is the shade N89. It's a beautiful stone and neutral gray. I have a nail polish that's this exact color, and I'm kind of obsessed with it, so I wanted to add it to these cards to soften it out as well. For the coffee mug and the Brooklyn Bridge, I did those shades in N75. Total disclaimer, the Brooklyn Bridge is not gray, but for the sake of aesthetics and for the look, we were going to make it work and we were going to paint it gray. So just disclaimer, don't come to New York City expecting these bridges to be gray. They're not. They're beautifully brick colored. It's great. Once my bases are done, I took the liberty of cutting out my actual cards from some Nina Solar white paper or cardstock, and I also pulled out my card trimmer for the edges. I wanted to round them out because I felt like that black on white was just very harsh and very masculine, and I do want to soften these out to a point, you know, so that way we're not just sending out these really rigid postcards that kind of look like marketing tools. That's not the life we wanted to live for these cards. I'm also going to pull out from my stash this beautiful slate card. Well, it's not cardstock, it's paper, but I got this paper from Paper Source. If you don't know what that place is, please go to their website, papersource.com. They are wonderful. They're from Chicago. They do a lot of DIY crafty things, and they have an amazing paper bar. I personally really like the slate paper. Originally, I wanted to adhere these card bases to maybe black, but I found that that might look too harsh. So gray just seemed to, again, soften that edge out, and it gave me this really soft border around my postcards to send to my friends. So I adhered them using my tape runner, and just then trimmed them off a little bit more using my paper trimmer. Total disclaimer, guys, I'm really bad at trimming my paper. Sometimes I get a really crooked edge, and I'm really happy that my friends don't call me out on it. I think I have one friend, Tiana, who will notice it, but she'll give me the benefit of the doubt and just go with it. But that's how you know they're from their heart. They're handmade. Guys, they have mistakes. They add charm, obviously. After I'm done giving my cards this beautiful edge, I'm going to adhere them down using some foam squares, well, foam circles, and I'm going to be very, very careful about how I place those, or how and where I place them, because again, I'm just really bad at spatial intelligence. Let's just put it like that. I sometimes adhere my cards really, really crooked. And just like that, here are my cards. It took me a little bit to realize that all 3 of my cards were a little off center, so bear with me. For a finishing touch, I'm going to pull out my Nouveau drops, and I'm going to just add a couple of embellishments. The color of these Nouveau drops is called Oyster Gray. Again, just it keeps up with that beautiful aesthetic of gray and black and these soft colors to give it a little bit of an edge. I love how these cards turned out. I do think that they are very minimal. I do think they're new age in a sense, where a lot of people nowadays are turning more to a clean and spacious sort of aesthetic, and I do think that these postcards stay true to that. I can't wait to send these off to my friends and to my father in Puerto Rico. I'm pretty sure they will be delighted when they see it, and cough cough, Elena, if you're listening to this, I still want a card from Minnesota. Well, you're in Montana, my apologies. I still want a card from Montana, so get on that, girl. Get it together. So here are my 3 cards, and again, it took me a little bit to realize that all 3 of my cards were not, in center, so bear with me, but here they are. Here are my 3 cards using the My Monthly Hero art set, as well as Kelly Purkley's New York. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and see you next time.